Okay guys, on to anchoring your unit, which is hugely important. Again, over 15 mile an hour gust, really none of these apply and the unit should not be up. There's 3 different ways to actually anchor a unit. And some of that depends on kind of how you tarped it and what your approach is, right? So if it's naturally concrete or pavers, a stake will not work. It would either have to be water bag or sandbag, or a gym at a church, you know, anything like that. If it's a grassy area, your best bet is a stake, if you can get to it. Now, in this tarp setup that we did here particularly, it's good grass, so I can still stake the outer edge of this unit. I generally, unless it's a little windier, won't stake both sides. We're one of the few companies that put a lot of anchoring points down. Anything that's up near traffic, I try and keep the stakes away from. But if this tarp, let's say this was a bad yard, let's say it was sandy or whatever, which is not a good yard at all, this tarp I would turn sideways and put 2 of them. Now the bottom would be totally covered. The bottom, you wouldn't have access to the actual ground because your tarp would maybe come out to here, right? You got 2 options. You can either drive the stake through the tarp. Some people do that. I'm not a big fan of that because it ends up that, you know, starts shredding the tarp and it starts to create a mess. Or go to a sandbag or water bag. Now, when you have a sandbag or a water bag, you have to have a carabiner on it, either one, because it has to clip to the unit. So you don't want to take rope and try and tie it here and tie it to the unit and all that nonsense. Just something like this, right? So we have these sandbags. They're the really good ones. 50-pound bag of play sand inside, wrapped in duct tape. In case it's dropped, it helps secure the bag. Velcro here, and you can carry it like a briefcase. Some people have sandbags that they sell that carry from here, where the bag lays like this and bangs against you. I don't understand that for the life of me, but this is pretty basic. It's like a briefcase. So if I'm gonna put it on this unit here, I'll move this water bag. Pretty simple. Just like that. Sandbags clip, butt it up against it, and I'm gonna run around the unit. I'm gonna do sandbags and I got enough. I'll probably do all of them because this, you know, naturally you can't catch a toe or anything with that. So that works really well. Get to the stop, didn't realize I couldn't stake it in. I don't have sandbags, but if I bought the water bags and I have some extra with me, because these fold right up and go into the seat of your truck, it'll look more like this. And this water bag's actually heavier than the sandbag. So I would just unclip the sandbag, bring in the water bag, same idea. And now I'm all set, and I've got anchoring all the way around the unit. I didn't drive back to the shop. I filled this up with the customer's water hose. When I want to drain it and I'm done, I just unplug it right here, turn it over. I don't even have to carry it, get all the water out, go put it back, roll it up, put it back in my truck. I've got them for spares, okay? So that's an option there. This is if you can't stake. Staking is always the better out. But if you're not in that situation where you can, then you would have to change that. So there's that. Now, let's get to staking. So on a stake, what we sell is 3/4, 18 to the bend, shave point at the bottom. Pretty large stake, okay? J stake, candy cane stake, whatever you want to call it. This is carbon steel. You notice it's not rusted, and it will not break. You can see where we hit it. They don't break. These are the best stakes, in my opinion, in the country, and they work great. So pretty simple. You're just going to come out here, take your hammer. Pretty basic setup. Get that other loop to come right here, and I'm in good shape right there. Everything's good. So that's if I can stake it in the ground. That's why those are the best stakes in the country, guys. I'm not kidding you when I say that. So you get a lot of people that do the rebar. That's okay. Rebar bends, rebar breaks. That's the first 2 things. Secondly, my hands would have been completely covered in rust had I used the rebar. so I can use these and never get my hands all rusty. It's just not a mess. They are absolutely phenomenal. Hogan tent stakes, none of them beat us on the price of them. You guys picking up can grab them while you're there. So that's the staking portion. Hopefully that helps. Water bags though, we would never want to use a water bag inside of a gym, parquet floor, in someone's home, things like that, right? Because if you get water on the floor in those areas, that's problematic. Only in situations where you can use the water bag, whether it be parking lots, yards, things like that. Sandbags, we do carry these. I think they're the best sandbags out there. They carry easy, they're easy to work with. I think we get 17 bucks for those. We do have them in stock if you don't have sandbags. These are absolutely great. Hit the carabiner to it. I mean, they're gonna last you just eons. They do the job. And again, you know, if you look inside, for those of you that are wondering what I mean by the duct tape and the sandbag, looks something like that. And as you can see, well, let's go through this one. It actually could have used duct tape more, right? Because that popped open right there. When you have drivers, I never just drop my sandbags over the side of the truck. But when you have drivers and other people that work for you, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna drop them, throw them around. So really duct taping the heck out of it is an ideal thing to do, or another setup that gives you the same weight, same look, but maybe has a better cover. If you can find that, would be ideal. Because once the sand starts to leak out through the bag, it gets in the Velcro up at the top, can create you issue. But this will give you the idea of the sandbag. It's pretty basic, throw it in there and everybody's happy. And then some people will run and I don't know how they do it, they'll just buy a sandbag and kind of set it over this piece right here and pray. You know what, when people see that, it's insurance wise not a good idea. It's totally silly. B, it's not going to work, and C, you didn't achieve anything. So if you're going to be in the business and do the business, let's do it right. So that's the options there. 888-901-WAVE. We have all this stuff, and we'll move on to the next clip of video and setup, things of that nature.